right? So you said you almost had a burnout and you worked so much during your studies too.
Yeah.
Did you find like a sweet spot on how to juggle those two things, or did you just throw personal life out of the window?
The more I grow, the more I'm into this world, basically, the more I see that working for money only is a very empty life. For other people, they like gaming a lot or they like playing football. I like being creative and starting startups. That's my hobby. That makes people's lives better.
Oh, okay, that's a crazy story, man. I didn't even know about it. That's very impressive.
There you go.
No, but before he applied to a job, he completely changed his life and started driving trucks for a living.
Wow.
Because
Why
that's
is
what
that?
you always wanted to do.
Oh,
and
cool.
and all right, so welcome to the Kibo Podcast. Today I have a special guest with me, Robin Salimans. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
You
Happy to be here.
are co-founder and CEO now of Kibo.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a good title. I think a lot of people want to be CEOs.
Of course, but I mean, it doesn't say anything yet, right? Until we make something and we change lives of a lot of people. So
Right. Depends on the company. Man, so how's your day been? Like, it's 3 p.m. now where we are. Did you already have a busy day?
yeah, I had some calls. Pretty much like right now with the quarantine, I have calls every day, like 5-6 of them at least. And I worked a little bit on the design. So like right now we're gonna release a new version of the app every 2 weeks, and I needed to send something to our CTO, so did that.
All right, a lot of things going on. A lot of calls about now. You're like, how long has the company been established now?
Officially, we were incorporated last July last year in America, but
Okay.
Back then we were another thing, Student Up. So back then we were doing connecting different students together to start businesses on an app.
Uh-huh.
And early January we made a pivot towards Kibo. So we're doing something completely else than back when we started, but the team is still the same.
Okay, same team.
Exactly same team. Yeah.
All right, you decided that just the other one wasn't the way to go.
Yeah. So we put out an app, sort of beta version of the app, to about 300 people, I think. And then we saw that almost nobody came up to back to the app. So, that's obviously not a good sign. I think it was version 2 or 3. And when we saw that, we just saw that the numbers weren't good. And we set all of our users down. Most of them were students, I think 90% of them. And we started interviewing them about the real problems that they had. We wanted to find out why they were even interested in downloading Student Up and why they were interested in the concept. And through that process, we found out that Kibo was a way better concept to go with because it's so much needed right now.
Okay. And I believe that last year when you started Student Up, that also wasn't your first experience as an entrepreneur, was it?
No, exactly. No, and in general, I really love getting people together and doing cool things, just like that. I started actually when I was like 16. I got a lot of different people together to raise the minimum wage of the Netherlands, actually.
No way.
Of young people. Yeah. That was successfully done. So right now, like I think when you're 20 instead of 23 or 21, I think you get an adult wage instead of 23. And yeah, so like we did that all together. So that's what I like doing. I like getting a lot of smart and young people together and do awesome things that have a positive impact on people's lives. So I did a lot of other campaigns as well.
So you're telling me that because of you, people in the Netherlands will get paid more now?
Partially. It's not only me, like there was a lot of people involved there. There was like thousands of people, but I was one of the originators in my region. Yeah.
So, okay. So in your region, you came up with the idea that, hey, man, we should earn more when we turn 20.
Yeah. Me and a couple of other people, of course.
Right.
So, yeah. I knew the leader of the campaign. Like I was the leader of the campaign, but I was one of the drivers in the Limburg area. So
that's pretty cool, man. That's a big impact, I would say.
We made back then. We made a video. I think it was on the point where like Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands cross, right? And if I like the video was watched like 300,000 times, I think, on Facebook. Was me in there, and it was kind of like, it was really simple. It was just, I was going to a McDonald's in the Netherlands, a McDonald's in Belgium, and a McDonald's in Germany, and I just asked them, what do you earn? And the amounts were so different. Like in the Netherlands, it was like €4 an hour back then, for an 18-year-old. Whereas in Belgium, it was like 10 euros, and in Germany, €8. So it's same work, double. Exact same job. It was like 10 kilometers apart. So that one completely viral. It's pretty cool. And I mean, I kept doing that kind of throughout my entire high school and also university. In uni, when I started uni, I kind of wanted to try out entrepreneurship, building a startup.
Right.
And I started with a clothing brand, which in the end didn't work out, but it was really cool because I kind of got that first experience with entrepreneurship. And everybody knew about it also in Maastricht, the clothing brand. But yeah, that was kind of my first experience. And then I met Ronan, lived together with him. And in the end, we started a business together. So that was a lot more serious, I think, than the clothing brand. But before that, I did a lot of different things. But the common ground under that is like getting people together and doing awesome stuff that makes people's lives better.
Oh, okay. That's a crazy story, man. I didn't even know about it. That's very impressive.
There you go.
No, but you are now how old?
21.
Yeah. 21. And you started your first real company was the clothing company that you talked about.
Ductus it was called. Yeah, I was 18.
Ductus. When you were 18, and that was your first year of university then.
Yeah, exactly. It was a couple of months in, and wanted to try something. Yeah. And did that for about a year, I think. And then, I kind of realized that I wanted to go more into the tech space, because in tech you can, it's so scalable that you can affect so many people's lives with little investment. With a couple of people together. Instagram, when they got acquired by Facebook for like $1 billion, they had 10 people in their entire company. And that's the kind of impact that you can get, with a couple of people together in a tech business. Whereas in the clothing business or in a business where you make physical products, it's a lot harder to do, and it takes a lot more time. So I wanted to have this impact on a lot of people's lives, and therefore I decided to go more into tech startups.
Okay, so then the first company you started, Ductus, right, the clothing company, is that then something that you just wanted to do just to do it, or did you also have the passion or the vision to really grow that company,
Initially I might have been a bit naive and thought that I could make this a thing,
Right. I mean, yeah.
Because I'm a really creative guy. I like being creative and designing things, for example, next to my work or studies. And I did that when I started uni, and it kind of grew from a passion project into a company. Sold quite some clothing as well, but in the end, I just saw that it wasn't going to have the impact that I wanted, basically. My goal is to just affect millions of people's lives positively and make a significant difference, not just a little bit. So, and I just saw very quickly, actually, that with a clothing brand, it wasn't going to happen. So then I decided to quit.
Right. So how long did you pursue this project then with Ductus? Are we talking years or months?
1 year. Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah.
And then after 1 year, you pulled the plug on it.
Exactly. Then I went to Australia. Actually, that's the moment when I pulled the plug, because I went on my exchange semester back then to Sydney.
Right.
And I was like, this project isn't really going where I want it to be, and I want to have an awesome time in Australia.
Okay.
So that's why I pulled the plug. And then when I was a couple of months in Sydney, then I got a Snapchat from Ronan. He was watching a YouTube video of Steve Bartlett. Steve Bartlett is like an entrepreneur that we always watch on YouTube. Very talented guy. And he was watching a video of him, and he sent me a Snapchat saying, man, let's not get a master's degree. Let's just build a startup together and get restaurant jobs or something, you know?
Really?
I want to do something awesome. And yeah, I mean, like a couple of months earlier, I did this entrepreneurship course at the university, and I had this idea ready, which everybody liked as well, which was Student Up back then. So I sent them that idea, and then the next day we started. That's how it happened.
No, he just got convinced instantly.
Yeah, I mean, like we obviously had a couple of hours of a call, you know, just to explain him the entire idea and then get through it. And he saw that was needed as well, because what we were doing is we were connecting different students together with different skill sets to start those businesses. And we saw that in, for example, Silicon Valley, which we've been to a couple of months ago as well, actually, that there's a lot of different students together, a lot of talented people together in one place. And it's very easy just to find like the software engineer next door, you know, as a student with an idea. The software engineer and the marketer can easily find each other. Whereas in our university, we saw that it was very spread out, right? Like the business faculty was on one side of the city, then like a couple of miles down the road, there was an engineering faculty.
Right.
The health faculty was on the completely opposite side of the city. So those people didn't meet, and we wanted to kind of let those people meet. It's kind of a Tinder for entrepreneurial students, if you will.
Okay, so you wanted to kind of bring the Silicon Valley vibes to everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, man, that sounds like a great idea, to be honest. Yeah. Too bad it didn't work out.
I mean, maybe it's still at some point. We just saw that it was the students that wanted to start a business was only a small fracture of the entire student community. And we saw that there was a much bigger problem out there when talking to users, which is that students are anxious. They have no idea what to do in their careers, in their lives, often don't like their studies. And we've had it as well in the past ourselves. You know, like we recognize the problem as well.
Yeah, I can relate too.
Yeah, I mean, almost everyone, right? At some point, you can just ask yourself, like, what am I actually doing? You know?
Yeah.
Right. And
definitely.
Yeah. And that's like basically what almost everyone told us when we are interviewing them about Student Up. Like, yeah, the reason why I came is just because I have really no idea what I want to do, and entrepreneurship is one of those possibilities in my future. Yeah, that's how we came to it.
Yeah. Okay, man. It seems like your entire life kind of has been revolving around like the entrepreneurial being, right? From
Almost,
a young age. That's
I just didn't realize it until I started uni. Like before, it was more, I guess, political, like getting a lot of people together and, you know, go more towards a certain goal. Like I was also another story at the age of 19, I was officially elected to my to the little council here in my city as the first young person. In the end, didn't work. Like I didn't accept the job because I was going away from the town. But I've been very involved beforehand in making a positive impact through political areas. But afterwards, I quickly realized that entrepreneurship for me is a much better way to do that.
It is. That sounds like a good person to be. I think always looking out for the people. Right.
Thanks.
No, but yeah, let's talk a little bit more about life as an entrepreneur, right? So you've been started your own company 5 years ago, and now you're on your third try practically.
Exactly.
Right. So how come you started at such a, like, why did you start so young? You know, a lot of people they also want to help other people. Right, they have this intrinsic motivation, just like you might have, but they kind of they say, okay, let me go to university first, and then maybe, you know, if it happens, it happens. Like, and you started your company during the first year of university, a period where a lot of people struggle coming from high school, right? Because the workload is so big.
Sure.
And next to your full-time studies, you just started to scale this business full time, right?
I know.
Like uni work wasn't enough for you.
No, I mean, I didn't really see it as work. I mean, uni I did see as work, just to be clear. But like I started the company because I just genuinely like doing it. You know, like it's for me. I was always seeing it like a hobby. something that you do after you're done working. So like for other people, they like gaming a lot, or they like playing football. I like being creative and starting startups. That's my hobby, and now it's also my work. So that's very, very great. But yeah, that's kind of how I saw it. Like I was just afterwards done with uni. That just appealed more to me for some reason, and I guess that's why. I don't have any other explanation at the moment, but I think that's probably, if I would say anything, that's probably that. That's probably
okay. It. And you never felt like it was too much work? You never felt like...
Oh, well, of course I did. Yeah, definitely. Especially when it became a bit more serious. When we started Student Up, it was just a lot. I was writing my thesis. I was doing a major in finance, and on top of that, we were planning everything for Student Up and setting everything up. It was a lot. It was close to a burnout as well.
Really?
I would say. I think. Yeah.
Just to get the chronological order right. So you start university, and the first year you start Doctors.
Yes.
And then you pull the plug on Doctors in your second year.
End of second year. Yeah.
End of second year, and then in your third year you start Student Up.
Yes.
Correct.
Exactly. Okay. So first I went on exchange, the first half a year, and then near the end of that exchange, I started Student Up.
Okay.
And, yeah.
And you're talking about you were close to getting a burnout.
Yeah, I think, like I was still a very eager student.
You worked out, right? Because like we went to university together, right? So I know that you were the first in our whole year ranking when it came to academia performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Exactly. And that was the ranking of the first year, which means the year when you first started your business.
Yes.
So
I think, I don't know, like some people call me crazy, but I'm just often working all the time. I have a completely different work ethic than most people. I don't need much sleep in that sense, or like I like to think I don't need much sleep. Let's put it like that. And if I need to do something, if I want to do something, then I don't stop until it's done. And I think that kind of killed me in the beginning. I kind of needed to set some barriers there for myself as well, and to think about my mental health sometimes, because I was trying to finish my university summa cum laude, which in the end was successful, which is good. But on top of that, having a full-time position in a startup. So yeah, you can imagine the working hours that come with that. Like it's almost no free time, or actually no free time.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to think of. And right now it's still a lot of work. Like I'll say I still work about 90 hours at least a week. But at least I can focus on one thing. Right. So like back then it was two different things together, and that was quite a lot, I would say. Maybe I worked, like usually if you start a university project, you kind of go into it. Or like a startup during university, you first work like 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week. But I went all in directly, and directly worked 40 hours a week, which might have not been the best idea back then.
No, but I mean, first of all, congrats on cum laude, right? Graduation. Very impressive. So then did you kind of find the balance then in your third year when you started a second company?
So actually that was the time when I was a bit of a when I had a bit of a burnout. During the second company, the first yeah, exactly. During the second company. So when my study was ending and I was directly going into the startup life 40 hours a week at least, that was quite tough. But then after a couple of months, I kind of adjusted. Then I also graduated, by the way. So then it was also a lot easier to just focus on one thing. And I think that's when it kind of went away. Yeah.
Right. So then in your first year, do you feel like things changed between when you first started Doctors next to your company and when you started Student Up next to your company?
A lot, yeah. I mean, even right now, like if I compare myself right now to to the person that started that first Doctors, like I'm completely different now, and a lot more mature in decision making, a lot less naive as well. I learned so much during those 3 years.
I can imagine
starting those businesses. Yeah, I don't think you can learn that in university within 20 years. Honestly, it's such a difference, and you do so many different things. You're involved in so many different things, and
nothing beats practical experience, right? That's what they say.
Exactly. Yeah, can definitely recommend it if you have a passion for creating things and making a positive impact, not just making money, because that shouldn't be the reason to start something. Because if you want to make money, you can better take this high-paying job, right? Then you directly get money.
Right.
Startup is not guaranteed that you get money, like not at all. You should just do it out of pure passion. If you have that, then I definitely recommend doing it, because you learn a lot.
Yeah. Right. I think a lot of people might or have this thought lingering in their mind right next to the work that they're doing, like their day job, whatever, or the studies they're pursuing to start a business. And I think they also have this fear of overworking themselves, right? Because they say, what about my family, friends, and personal life? I just maybe don't have the time for it. So I wanted to ask you, right? So you said you almost had a burnout and you worked so much during your studies too. Yeah. Did you find like a sweet spot on how to juggle those two things, or did you just throw personal life out of the window?
I think the last thing.
The last thing, did you?
Yeah, I didn't quite figure out yet how I would, if I would go back to university, I don't think I would already know how to juggle that, to be honest. Because startup life is a lot. Like if you do it with 100% focus, basically, then you really work like 100 hours a week. So, and then on top of that, university, like it's just the question, what do you find more important? Like, do you first want to finish your university and then go more into your startup? Well, then keep it down to like 10, 20 hours a week for your startup, do some university work, and then you can sometimes have a beer with your friends. That's still possible. But then it won't be anything big until you graduate and you can fully focus on it, because that's really necessary. So you'll kind of be in the starting stages until you will graduate then. Yeah.
So you have to keep that in mind when you want to start a business next to whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah. Because think about it, like if you start a business and offer a product to people, you'll have to compete with everything else that is out there, right? So like also to the big guys sometimes. And if you don't work 3 times as hard as everyone else, then your product is going to be inferior to those others, and nobody's going to use your product, right? Because nobody uses your product for you, but people only use your product when they actually get some value out of it.
Right, so, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's so like, but however, getting a team together costs a lot of time. So for us, it took about half a year, I think, to get the right team together.
Really?
And yeah, that's one of the most difficult things in the early phases, I would say. So already spreading the word, putting your website online, like getting those first things started and finding the right people, maybe throwing out a really quick product to test your assumptions. I think that can be definitely done during university. Yeah.
Okay, I have this question, right? Did your parents know that you started your company during university, like Doctors and Suno?
Yeah, they did.
And they weren't concerned at all.
Sometimes they were a bit concerned for my mental health, yes, but in the end, they were always fully supportive, which is very nice. That's also very helpful. If you don't have that environment, it's a lot tougher to do, I would say.
Right. Do you think that was because you also excelled in academia, or do you think even if you were just average, the average passing student, they would have been just as supportive?
I think I'm not entirely sure, but I think it definitely helped that I was doing very well at uni, because then they were seeing that that's fine anyway. That's gonna be fine, and even if it doesn't work out, this entrepreneurial journey, he'll always be able to fall back on that, and get a job or whatever. So I think that definitely put them at rest. I'm not sure what would have happened if I wouldn't be very good at uni. No.
Yeah.
No. I can imagine that it's a lot tougher. Yeah.
Because I can also imagine a lot of parents, also, for example, my parents, if I wouldn't be good in academia and I would start a full-time company next to it, I don't think they would be convinced.
Yeah, exactly. Like first focus on uni, you know, like get your grades up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but so great to hear that you had like a supportive environment, right? I think that really is a big also motivational booster, right? If you can see that you have, people behind you. Can you think of anything else, like, because you started when you were 18, right? You were also quite young. You said you were kind of naive. Do you know what else could have held you back then?
I guess there's this psychological barrier to it, especially in our continent, I would even say. Not even country, but continent.
Right.
Because I've been in the US too, right? And there it's completely different. There it's encouraged to start businesses as a student. It's very normal, actually.
Really?
Yeah, especially in the Valley, Silicon Valley area.
However, okay. Yeah.
I was the only one, I think, that I knew at least that was doing it. So it's kind of a crazy thing almost. And I think that could slow people down, at least for making this. Even if you make the decision at the end to do it, could slow people down. That the environment around you is not right for entrepreneurship. Not as good, at least, as other environments.
Right.
I would say that at a university back then, it was just a crazy thing. Like everybody knew that I was doing that because I was one of the only ones, and it shouldn't be like that, in my opinion. It should be more normal to start such projects as a student, because it's not a big thing. People see it as a big thing, and that's why it's in the minds of the students that it's a big thing. But it's genuinely just a little project that you start up, and you try out in the beginning. So it shouldn't be, shouldn't have such a large psychological barrier to it. So I would say that in Europe, at least, I think that could be a very large one. Just the environment around you almost telling you that you're crazy to do things.
Yeah, and I remember also that when you started your company at the end of your bachelor's, right, Student Up.
Yeah.
You actually went to the States.
Yes.
For a while,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Was that the reason?
The reason was twofold, I would say. First, we wanted to bring this Silicon Valley spirit to Europe. That was our mission. And we had never seen in person the Silicon Valley spirit. So therefore, in order to really do that, you first have to see it and really experience it. And it was, I think, in our development, like in the end, it didn't work out. But in our development, it was a very significant milestone, I would say. Mm-hmm. And second, we were just wondering whether that was a better place to be for us. In terms of the spirit, in terms of the ecosystem that you're in, is a lot more supportive there. So we just wanted to check that out as well. In the end, also, we decided to first start in Europe, simply because of, even though the environment is a lot more conservative, it's also a lot cheaper to start here. Like in Silicon Valley, in order to get an apartment, you'd have to pay $3,000 a month at least. Right. So that's simply something that you cannot afford, that we could not afford. And second, we were also a bit early for that back then. But in the end, it was still really good that we went there. We went there for like 2 months, I think. Met with a lot of cool people, and we still reap the benefits of that, actually, just because we have so many contacts there right now. So that's really cool.
And you said it was a bit early for that. A bit early in which sense?
So our product was not developed enough yet. Like our thought was, and again, this is where we were naive. We go to Silicon Valley to raise investment, and we come back with a bunch of money.
And that would be nice.
Yeah. So because we thought, we were considering that as one of the places where we wanted to settle. So we're like, okay, let's go there and pitch to a lot of different people. But the thing that we didn't have in mind is, even though there's a lot more money in Silicon Valley, there's also a lot more startups.
Right,
a lot of
more
great startups as well.
Yeah,
a lot of great entrepreneurs. And we were just in the starting stages back then. So we didn't have really any traction to show for. And therefore, traction is really something you need in order to raise money.
Yeah.
So,
okay. I mean, would you go back now?
Probably not with the situation right now, no.
But, true, fair enough.
Yeah, I think soon I will probably go back anyway. At some point, not right now, and even if it's not for living there, but I think it's a very good place to be in terms of the spirit. It's so different than here.
For inspiration.
Yeah, it's for inspiration, but also just the way people think. Like failing there, like starting something up and failing is a good thing. It's seen as you're encouraged. You're a hero there if you do that. Right. Here you're an idiot. Yeah. Right? So that only that is already so different. There's so many smart people around you, and it's just the entire ecosystem. You feel it when you're there that you're in, like that you're part of something bigger, basically. Mm-hmm. And here you it's almost like you're one of the only ones doing it. Even if you're not, it just the ecosystem is not that evolved yet. Hopefully it will, but it's not there yet.
Do you feel like this European climate of what you just described is holding you guys back?
Ourselves? Most likely, yeah. I mean, like it's something that can be dealt with. Like if you have the right mindset yourself, it's totally fine. You can do it. It's not a problem. But it's just like for example, if you pitch to an investor here with your startup, here it's like no, right? Then that's how they say it. And there it's like no, not for me. But I know 5 other people who could be interested in you. Really? Yeah. It's like it's a different spirit. It's a connector spirit. Doing something for others without ever expecting anything back. That is the spirit there. Everybody will want to have a meeting with you if you ask for it. Just like a little coffee or coffee break or something, just to talk to you, to mentor you a little bit, because they genuinely believe in that spirit. Yeah. They have that attitude, and here they don't. Here it's a lot more conservative environment. So I think in that sense, indirectly we probably are affected here too. That that spirit is not here. Uh-huh. So we probably could have had a much larger network, a lot more of a supportive environment here. But if you have the right mindset yourself, it's definitely still possible to succeed here. Like there's a lot of examples, of course, of Dutch startups, for example, that are doing very well. So yeah,
that's really cool to hear. I also want to go back to the US. I love the culture there. Everybody's so open-minded.
Exactly. Yeah. You've been in Texas, right?
Yes, I did my semester abroad. When you went to Australia, I went to Texas.
Yeah. And Texas is also really upcoming in terms of startups. It's a very good place to be too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I might just go back to Texas. Yeah, man. Like, so I think a lot of people, they also, me included, right? When I was younger and I was thinking about maybe doing stuff by myself. You're 21 now, right?
Yeah.
Which is also not that old.
No.
Right?
I know.
I mean, you have a beard now, and you might look older than you actually are. Do you have this problem of being taken seriously? As like this youngster coming up with all these big ideas. Do you feel like you are being looked down upon from more experienced individuals?
I don't have that feeling. No. It could be because of my beard, but generally people are impressed rather than skeptical when they hear about it. Because I don't look like I'm 21 necessarily. Yeah. So when I pitch to them and I look like I look a lot more mature than my age would say, then like they have. If you would usually something from a 21-year-old, you would expect this, and I would come in there and be this, Right. And this is the difference is the impact that you're making, the kind of impression that you're making. Like, wow, This guy is cool, I think it's rather something that you can turn into a benefit rather than something that holds you back. Yeah. I think what being a first-time founder or being a founder that has never had a successful exit yet, that is what people think about when they hear you pitching. So whether you're a 40-year-old or a 21-year-old, it's the first time that you're doing it. So therefore, you don't have the experience. You didn't go through all the entire process yet. I think that is probably a bigger thing than being young, in my opinion. I think being young can be good, in a sense.
Yeah, it's like a wow factor.
Yeah, you're also a lot more energetic. Also the future a lot better. Like we for example, Gen Z, we are born inside of this era. Like for us, being online and having a mobile phone is super normal, right? So we also know a lot better what is coming. And that can be, especially in tech startups, can be a very good thing.
Okay. Yeah.
I even know VCs that solely invest in under 30-year-olds. So
you say what?
I even know VCs that invest only in under 30-year-olds, like people under 30.
Really?
Because of those reasons. Of course, there's also.
But then those are more tech VCs then, or.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Almost exclusively, actually, but. Of course, sometimes the experience that you gain throughout the years it's definitely valued. That's not saying that, but I think being young, it doesn't need to stop you from doing this.
Yeah, and I also feel like when you start at such a young age as you mature a lot. I think during those experiences, right? Yeah, exactly. That's probably also why you don't come across as this barely over 20 you're just exactly. Out of teenager age.
yeah and people find it very impressive to see what you've already done and what you're doing at such a young age. It says something about you. And I think usually investors invest in people, not in an idea, because the idea can change and the product can change. The people behind it rarely change. And if it's someone that is genuinely passionate about something and has been for a long time at such a young age already, I think that impresses a lot of people.
I can definitely imagine. I'm still impressed by you. You're 2 years younger than me, and you've been through so much. But so the follow-up question that I had now for you was, you already talked about the working so hard and almost burnout level, and not getting much return out of it, right? Like you don't make any money. It takes a lot to start this initial growth. How do you justify to yourself that this is the right path to go? You might see we all might have friends who just go out and start working, and they get their salary and they have like a car and a house, and you're sitting here in your student apartment working double as hard as they do, and you barely see anything for it.
I think I am actually more afraid of that working life than I am of working hard and failing, to be honest. I'm like, when I think about it, is I often make decisions thinking that, okay, so I imagine when I take an important decision, I imagine that I'm almost dying, right? I'm at the age of 90 or whatever, and I look back on my life, and thinking, okay, would I regret this decision if I would be at my deathbed or not? Would I regret not doing this, or would I regret doing this? And I think I would very much regret not taking the chance to do this and following my passion and doing something that I love throughout my entire life. I would very much regret it if I would give up now and go work a job that I don't like.
Okay.
And be miserable for the rest of my life. That sounds a lot more scary to me, even though you have a lot more financial stability, but I don't really care about that, to be honest. I care more about doing something that I really like doing, I love doing. Because you spend so much of your time on earth working, that your work life is your life. It's not two separate things, in my opinion. It's the same thing.
Okay,
if it's something that you don't like doing, then you don't like your life either. That's how I view it personally. So that's maybe a bit of a different perspective than most people.
Yeah, I think definitely, but it makes sense in my opinion. I think also you spend a majority of your life, working, and that can either be you slave away, or you turn your work into something that you like doing, and then it becomes part of your life, indeed, like you said.
And it's easier to do that than ever. Like my grandpa had one or two choices of doing something in his career. We can do anything really we want. We have the internet. We have all the possibilities at our fingertips. So it's almost you're almost hurting yourself if you don't make use of that. Because you're born in an environment which is so supportive and so right for doing something you like doing and finding out what you like doing.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then I don't see any reason for not doing that, to be honest.
Right.
If you love working in a stable job, by the way, not saying that is wrong at all. Like not everyone needs to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone needs to go to a full-time job either. You can do anything you want, really. But as long as you really genuinely like what you're doing, that please make sure, I would say, to everyone, please make sure that you really like what you're doing. Yeah. Find something that you really love.
I think that's a very important lesson, because of a lot of people, they want what other people have, right? They see other people that they find or that have been labeled as successful, and they feel like they have to go the same path. And like I don't know, like a year ago, I saw this show on TV, and it was about this guy who did his master's in like engineering or whatever. Right? And he graduated, did his master's, and then before he applied to a job, he completely changed his life and started driving trucks for a living.
Wow.
Because that's what he always wanted to do.
Oh,
and then,
cool.
and he's been doing that for, I think, like 10 years. When I saw the documentary, he's been doing it for 10 years, and he's having the time of his life. Just driving trucks around.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's
absolutely not saying that being an entrepreneur is better than being a truck driver. I really don't care what you do. Like I just have just as much respect for you as long as you like what you do, and if you choose something that you're genuinely passionate about and enjoy, rather than just, going to a job that you absolutely hate for the rest of your life. I think, that's how I personally see it. Yeah.
So you being, an entrepreneur who's quite clearly motivated by helping other people.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your motivations have changed in some way throughout your journey?
I think it's become even stronger, to be honest. The drive to make a positive impact. Like the more I grow, the more I'm into this world. Basically, the more I see that working for money only is a very empty life. It's because money is just a means to do something else, right?
Right.
In the end, you're going to die. And believe me, you're not going to have any money in your grave. So money shouldn't be the purpose of living. And the more I look around me, the more passionate I am on making a positive impact on people's life. Absolutely. Yeah. So like, right, the purpose itself changed, because before, we were connecting different students and enabling them to start businesses. Right now, we are kind of coaching our generation into the future, into a happy work life, kind of. So that changed, but it's still about helping people, and it became even stronger, I would say.
Right. So your motivation kind of stayed the same, only the tools you're using kind of changed with the businesses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear. Do you have any anybody you look up to when you to kind of if you have times where you maybe feel less motivated or exhausted, do you have any idols you look up to kind of motivate you again, get you back on track?
Yeah, I mean, other than my co-founders who are always very supportive, we support each other very well. I think if you're more talking about like a celebrity idol, I would say Elon Musk is definitely my idol there. Because what the guy is doing, I mean, he's doing a lot of bad things to his mental health, just to make clear there. But he's doing so, because he's working also 120 hours a week constantly, But he's the CEO of SpaceX, who recently launched humans into space, by the way, last week.
Yeah, and I saw that.
Yeah, and Tesla, who is completely changing the auto industry on its own. Mm-hmm. He is having such an impact on the future of humanity. It's super impressive, I would say. And imagine, like, he started SpaceX 18 years ago. And he only had himself, no one else. And his goal was getting humanity on Mars. That's big, if you think like that. That he dares to dream big. And like, I have a lot of respect for that. Obviously, I don't want to become himself, but I have the respect that he has a goal in mind, a crazy goal, and he goes for it, even though a lot of people say that he can't do it. And in the end, he will prove them wrong, because he does. prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Every day. So yeah, that's what I would say is my idol. And if I'm unmotivated myself, which also happens, it happens to everyone, then, if he can do that, then I can definitely get up and do that one more meeting,
Right. Yeah. If you can send people to space, then,
exactly.
Then, you can get out of bed early.
Exactly. Yeah.
I definitely get that. So what is then your long-term motivation, right? What is your goal with the things you're doing?
For Kibo, I want to make sure that everyone is, like we already talked about, basically right now, our generation is the most anxious generation ever, period. Because of especially related to career anxiety. So they don't know what to do. They don't know what choice they want to make. And that partially is, or actually mostly is, due to the internet, because they have so many possibilities now that they can choose from. And if you can only choose, for example, between 2 bottles of wine, then it's very easy choice. But if you choose between 1 million bottles of wine, then you think, oh, which one is actually the best for me? And then you get kind of anxious about that. And it's the same thing. And that's just a bottle of wine. Like, we have to make a career choice that impacts the rest of our lives, basically. And we can do so many things right now that has never been seen before. And second why this is the case is mostly because of social media. Actually, the thing that you just said, people looking at others, thinking that they have an amazing life on Instagram and on Facebook, and wanting to beat them, not wanting to beat themselves, but wanting to beat them, those idols.
Yeah,
and I think that results in a generation that is very, very anxious, even though we have so much potential. And I want to make sure, together with our team and our company and everyone else, that we become a generation that is happy and not anxious.
Yeah.
And that likes their life.
It's crazy to think, right, that we have all these opportunities now, but at the same time as they give us chances to do everything, they also seem to cripple us in not knowing what to do, right? Because there's so much.
There's been a lot of research into that, actually, that the more choice you have, the more anxious you become.
Really?
And and there is professional help out there, career coaches, right? You can go to a career coach if you have $1,500, by the way. Then you can go there for one day.
I don't.
and they will help you. Like they often help people into finding what they want to do and realizing that themselves. But that doesn't really work for our generation anymore. We expect everything to be on our phone, right? For a career coach, you have to make an appointment yourself and go to someone else's office, travel for half an hour to sit there for an entire day in one room, basically.
Yeah.
But our generation doesn't like that anymore. Our generation doesn't want to go for an entire day there. Our generation wants to click on a button here and have it straight away.
They've gotten lazy.
Well, yeah, maybe.
But they just got used to having everything on the silver plate.
It's just a different standard. Yeah, we're born in this world, and everything that's not within that world is weird for us. We're not interested in that,
Right.
So we want to make the systems that are supposed to help people, which don't work at the moment for Generation Z, we want to make them work for Generation Z, and therefore make them happy.
I mean, and that's what you do, right? Or that's what you guys are doing right now with Kibo, right?
Exactly.
Let's talk about that. So Kibo is a computer, a robot, practically.
Yeah, on your phone, right? So like it's a career coach. So someone that I just described that can help you with making choices and landing that perfect job, I would say, for you. However, it's not a human, but it's an AI. It's a bot on your phone. Yeah, and it uses the same techniques, proven techniques, to guide you into your career. And you can talk to it at any time. Doesn't take breaks. Doesn't go to bed. Always available there for you.
And you guys developed this AI yourselves?
Yeah, we're doing that ourselves, obviously, with the tools that are out there. There's a lot of nice tools already from Google, for example, that you can use. They already help quite a lot with that. But over time, like right now, the AI is not perfect yet. It's just in its infancy, basically. Mm-hmm. But over time, we're going to develop an AI that you can just talk to like that. Yeah.
Okay, and then where does its expertise come from? Like
Kibo's expertise.
Yeah, but where do they come from? Because you guys developed them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we work together with career coaches. Like they also see the problem. You know, they see that what they're doing, the service that they're offering, the way they offer it doesn't work for young people anymore.
Yeah.
So they want to collaborate. They also see all around them that so many young people are anxious, and they're also motivated to change that. So like we work together with them in order to create those programs that are supposed to help, that are helping people actually right now. Yeah.
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I'd be glad to use that as well, and I think a lot of people will.
Yeah, it's already released right now for beta testers, but soon it will be available to everyone. So
okay,
yeah,
and then we'll go out there and change the world just like you changed minimum wage in the Netherlands.
Let's hope so. Yeah, definitely. That's the goal.
I think you guys do great. I hope you guys do great, because
I'm sure we will. We have such a motivated team, and we're all on the same page there. We all see the problem all around us and felt it before, and we just don't want anyone in our generation to feel like that anymore. Yeah. Like to be anxious and to be afraid of graduating, to not know what you want to do anymore. Yeah, because that's a very bad feeling, and not knowing what you're good at, basically, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I think I learned a lot about you. It's really impressive life that you've been living. So I've been like super excited to get you here on the podcast, talk to you a little bit more. I think also a lot of valuable information in this conversation that we just had, also for up and coming entrepreneurs, and also I think people in general, how they make life decisions, what it entails, working hard with your passion. Do you have anything else you want to say to the up and coming entrepreneurs, be it students, be it full-time workers, that kind of are playing with the idea of getting into creating their own business?
I would say just to try it out, just have a try. You can just start right now, basically. Don't postpone it or anything.
Just have the Silicon Valley mentality.
Exactly. Just try if it's something for you. It doesn't have to be something for you. Like if it's not, then it's also fine. But you never know if you don't try it out. And if anyone wants advice, by the way, or just a listening ear, or wants to know about some more experiences, then they can always email me. Robin@meetkibo.com. Just send me an email and we'll talk. So
wow. I think a lot of people would appreciate that. Yeah.
I hope so.
But yeah, so that kind of concludes our podcast for this session.
Thanks a lot. I really liked it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me once again. It's been really great. I learned a lot too. That's why I love doing these, having these conversations with people like you. Yeah. And I will see you guys in the next time. And Robin, you have a great day.
Thanks, Ian. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.